See, these things tend to sag right here in the TV area. I had already blocked it several times here with filler to kind of get the dip out of it. Before, this dash kind of sunk in really bad right here in this area. But yeah, this is a one-off dash. This is the original dash I had. This one's a little bit different from that one. It's shaped a little bit different right here. But yeah, this is a one-off dash. I'm not gonna. I cut out my own voice box area, my own squares. I'm not gonna be molding this. This is gonna go in my convertible and it's gonna stay in my convertible. I'm just gonna add probably a little belly because this one didn't have the belly either. As a matter of fact, it didn't even have the bottom piece. This is the dash I had on my website for many years, since I think 2004. Now I have the new version over there that has the underbelly and it's more accurate than this one. But yeah, I did take this one. I did get the measurements from the original, and I pretty much made this the same as that one. It's a little bit closer than what it was before. I think this bottom piece was twice as thick on both sides. I think that was done so they could fit the wood blocks under there and it would kind of hide it, but I'm not gonna have wood blocks, so I don't need to really hide anything. And plus it looks a lot better when it's thin like that. Alright, got this underbelly all taped up, ready to glass. I'm going all the way across the dash. Okay, what I'm doing today is I'm going to take my old dash that was in my convertible and I'm going to add an underbelly to it. And so I got my foil tape where I want the glass to go. And I'm going to do it just like the new style dash that I made. This is my plug from the original 4-season dash. I'm going to be doing that to this dash now. Why am I doing that? Why don't I just make one? Well, I already had the dash. No point to waste the dash, so might as well fix it. Alright, just finished glassing on some X-Mat for an underbelly on this thing. Not too hard to do. Sure, I could have put some foam in there, took the tape off, sanded the foam down perfectly, and then glassed over it. But that's way more work. Doing it this way, it's a lot faster. When I peel the tape off, if there's imperfections, that's what filler's for. Smooth it out with the filler. Get it done a lot faster. And you'll achieve the same result. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight. Alright, here's a comparison to the new dash that I made a few months back. Except for this was my plug, so it's got some damage from when I pulled it. A couple cracks right here, but this is the original dash. This one I got off Mark's Customs years ago off an eBay auction, and I molded it, but it didn't look like this. It looks totally different. This part was real thin right here. This part was real thick at the bottom, kind of curved here. I think Mark's Customs at the time was trying to make a dash that looked different than the original so he didn't get in trouble. So he messed with the dash shape a little bit. So then what I did was I went and configured the original dash, took their measurements, and I added it to the dash I already had in my convertible. Why I did it, I don't know. I guess I was bored, and instead of tossing the dash, I figured, might as well use it again. And so that's what I did. I think my dash, the bottom one, is a little more straight right here. This one's just a little bit sharper lines at the bottom on that side. But on this one, I just added the underbelly the other day. You can see it under there, right there. I did it just like the new mold that I made. The underbelly all the way across and on the side. So now this one's virtually pretty much almost the same as the top dash. I gotta add some filler in there to smooth it out. But these two dashes almost look identical, except for this one doesn't have the speaker grills, but they could always be added. This one I had already added the speakers to them. So I mean, there's not much difference now in the two dashes. I mean, you could take a look. I mean, that's the dash that I changed and modified, and that's the original. So it's somewhat pretty close. And there's the TV area. TV area looks really close, really almost the same. And of course this side looks identical. So I don't know, I was gonna take this dash since it was more of my design, and I was gonna mold this one, but then I got my hands on an original dash, and I figured I'll just add the underbelly and leave the originality of this dash, and that's what I did, and I molded the original one. So this one was, it's funny because this one was off our original that was just kind of changed around, that way the Mark's Customs didn't get in trouble by Universal. He was scared at the time. And yeah, this is a very old design dash, but like I said, I modified it to look like the original, so there's hardly any difference. It's very little difference from that to that. This one I did add my own voice box openings, and then this one I did modify that part too, where it's got the side pieces sunken in from the middle. Just in case you want to do this to this dash, you can. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's a nice looking dash now. Before it was a little inaccurate. Now it's pretty close. I'm sorry for the dust. How dusty this thing is. Kind of takes away from how it looks. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with both of them, but I don't think I'm going to mold this one. I'm going to leave this one. It's going to be a one-off dash, and it's going to go on my convertible. So my convertible's only going to have this dash. Nobody else will have a dash like this. It's going to be a one-off dash only. I don't care if people tell me if they like it and they want me to mold it. I don't think I'm going to mold it. I just don't see spending more money into a dash that I'm probably not going to sell a whole lot more than the top one. Alright guys, here's a video of the added belly that I added to the dash. I did it just like I did the other dash. I actually made this one even a little longer than I did the other one. I just gotta add some filler in there. Get it all nice and smooth, nice and square, nice and straight, flat. And so when you have this thing installed, you're not going to see the work I did add to it, but if your passenger looks up under here, he's not going to see hanging wires from your TV or anything. It kind of conceals it, just like the other dash. So let me get some work done. Alright, just added first layer of high grade body filler. Let this thing dry, and then I'll start filing it down, getting it smooth. Alright, after sanding the first layer of filler with 80 grit, I blocked it out. You can see there's little low spots here and there and high spots. Big low spot down in here, a couple low spots there, bunch of low spots there, here. There's always going to be low spots on your first layer, especially going over glass that's kind of been put on real quick. You know, it was nothing fancy. Bunch of low spots that I got to fill in. So now I'm going to take and do one skim coat over the whole thing, fill in all these craters and low spots, and then I'll block it again, and hopefully I'll have most of them out. Alright, just block the skim coat of the second body filler. Looks like it's good here. Good here. Good up here. Good all the way over here. And then you come down here, and I got a dip here. I gotta put some more filler right in here. Skim coat it right here. And a little bit right here. And third time's the charm. That'll probably be the last coat I need, and this thing will be done. Be ready for primer. Alright, third coat worked, locked it out, and everything's smooth. So I guess third time is the charm. All the low spots are gone. You're not going to see it anyway, so if there was a lot of low spots, it really doesn't really matter. But it's nice to have it smooth, of course. So that's pretty much it. I'm pretty much done with this. All I got to do now is primer it. I already primed the dash once. It's all on primer right now. So now I just got to primer the added underbelly, the added shelf underneath. Primer that, and then I can block this out, get it ready for the electronics, get it ready for paint. And if there's a little imperfections, because I can still see there's a few of them, when you put the primer on, you could still work those out, get it nice and smooth. Alright, the dash here, you can see it's finished. The underbelly has been added. I didn't add it too long here, just, you know, I think that's like 2 inches. I could have went all the way across, but then it's going to get a little bit hard to mount your boards. I want to have a little clearance to be able to get to the L brackets. I did make this one a little bit farther out. Actually, a lot of it. You can see how much I needed to add to this dash. This dash had nothing underneath. It was completely cut. And I just didn't like that look. I added this side too, because this side was really cut. It was only like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch right here. So I'm going to test fit this in my convertible and see how it looks, but I think it's going to look real good. Again, this is a one-off dash. I'm just making this for my convertible. I'm going to be adding the pod. Here's the pod for it. And then I got the gull wing as well. I got a new gull wing that Joa just sent me, and that's the new one where it doesn't have the faceplate. I got the one without the metal plate in the front, so you bolt it from the bottom. But yeah, it's coming out real good. All I got to do is primer the bottom piece. The top's already primered, and then I can block this thing out and get it painted. Put my electronics up in here. I did add an extra layer of X-mat throughout the whole bottom of the dash because I wanted it to be extra sturdy down there. So fun project. Still got a lot to do, but it's getting there. And you can see it kind of goes up, and then it's pretty straight. It's not too saggy. Before this thing was saggy, I put a ton of filler up in here to get the sag out of it. Because I mean, it was just dipping where the TV was, and that's another reason why I needed to add the X-mat, the extra reinforcement to this thing. And then, again, this is from my my old 1TV dash mold, which I'm not making those dashes anymore. Let me show you. I have it outside, kind of just sitting. It's bright out here. This is the mold that it came from. As you can see, it didn't even have the bottom lip to it, no belly to it at all. Supposedly it's from an original. It was a little bit modified from the original design, and I had to remodify it back to the original design. Isn't that funny? So Mark's Customs got an original dash. He didn't want to get in trouble, so he added some funky stuff to it to make it less, so it didn't look like it was an original. And then I took the dash and I made it back to the original by using original and looking at the original and seeing what it needed to be done to get it back to the original look. So it's just funny how that works.